The Fan. Talkin' money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? This microphone sounds twangy again. A little country station here. We did get a couple winners to our quiz question. This state is hiring. So check this out. After crunching the numbers, state officials concluded there were about 1,700 open jobs in 4 areas with specialized skills: accounting, engineering, IT, and welding. The state currently has 824,000 people. Just think about that. That's the entire state. This is South Dakota. I haven't been to South Dakota. So I don't know. Because I can't ride my Harley to that big event back there. So they're looking. The state of South Dakota is spending $5 million to attract. Their goal is to get at least 1,100 new South Dakotans to come there and take over some of their jobs. So if you are somebody who is in the or has interest in the accounting, engineering, information technology, and welding, if you can do all 4, you are a triple threat there. You're a quadruple threat. You can weld while you're doing your BlackBerry. You'll be ahead of the game. And these are not. So you're not talking about minimum wage jobs. You're talking about some good jobs. I have not been to South Dakota. I don't know what it would be like to live there. I've been to North Dakota, and I know what it would like to be live there. Cold, bitter cold. But anyway, there you go. So if you are in the position of looking for some new employment or some employment, head to South Dakota. Now, they'll hire you. Our what is this? Okay, this is from our phone screener. I can tell it's written on a little yellow piece of paper that says, "Shut up and read the question." This goes back to the previous hour about my separated is not divorced. Could they be legally separated and still get a loan? And my comment in the first section, if you missed it, first segment today was separated is not divorced. And so if you are running around telling everybody and you're trying to get financing that you're separated, that doesn't really mean anything. I don't know what the term legally separated means. I think it's kind of like half pregnant. I think legally separated means I've put it on paper that I'm separated and you filed it with the court. I can't hear you. What? Yeah, you've gone to court and filled out, but you're still not divorced. So I'm not sure I don't know. And we do have attorneys that listen to this show. Actually, my own legal counsel listens to this show for good advice. So if you are someone in the legal field and you know what legally separated means, I still think that you have to have a quitclaim deed signed and some other deal signed. So I'm not really sure what legally separated means, other than you've probably told the world that, hey, if this person goes out and borrows some money, I'm not involved. But we'll see. But I still think you have to do some quick claims for the state of California. So it takes care of that. Speaking of buying homes and doing some things, this came my way. Where did this come from? This was September 10th. So this was this week. Or maybe this was last week. FHFA's inspectors are looking for Walkaways. The Office of Inspector General, the OIG, which, by the way, has the same abilities as the FBI, search, seize, and arrest. The OIG office is looking for people who have strategically walked away from their homes. And this could get ugly. So if you are someone, and they made 2 particular categories of people they're looking for. This is the same group, by the way, that comes out to the lenders and looks for lenders who are doing falsified applications and making bad loans. And this is an oversight agency for Fannie and Freddie only, not FHA, not VA, not a private bank loan. This is just for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. If you are someone that falls in one of these 2 categories, you might keep your head on your shoulders here, looking backwards. If you lived in your home for many months, even years, without making any house payments, and then sold your home without, so you stopped making payments, you lived there for a year or 2. And I know some people that have lived in their houses for up to 2 years. You are category 1 for who the FHFA is looking for. And category number 2, you stopped making payments on a house that you owned and you still collected rent from the tenants for years. So you kept the rent and you didn't make the house payment, which I also know happens quite a bit, and unsuspectingly, usually to the tenant. Those 2 categories are category 1 and 2 that they're going to be looking for. Category 3 is going to be people who have not disclosed. They've come back and got another Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan, and they have not disclosed that they previously had one that went into default. That one's going to be a little tougher because we as the lenders know, for the most part, that happened because it's on your credit. We have ways of tracking that down. So there's not probably as many of those, but they have 18 million mortgages on the books. No, total, not people, not violators. Total 18 million mortgages on the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's books. Their computer system is going to go through these mortgages looking for a matchup, someone who's got a loan now and had a loan that went in default, and they're going to start looking at them more carefully. They also have 130 investigators, 45 of them which are just going after the people who were collecting rents and not making their payments and or lived in their house free for the last couple of years. And they're not just going to ask you for some money back. And this, I'll quote you the article, we're going to lock people up. So, should you be considering or are currently contemplating the path of, I think I'll just stop making payments on my rental and keep collecting the rents until it defaults? That could be a very expensive rental income stream for you. And those of you who just walked away from your mortgages or lived in the houses for a couple of years for free, that's probably not going to be locked up. They're probably going to ask you for some money. They estimate there's about $1 billion they're going to get back. So think about that. Now, there's quite a few of you right now that probably have a little tighter shorts on than you had before the show if you're listening to this. There is a fair number of people who have owned a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac home, bought something else, and more than likely they may have used the FHA program, they may have not, and then they let their house go into a strategic default afterwards. And that doesn't get addressed in this category here, because that, in my mind, is still a strategic default. If you knowingly are going to say, I'm going to get another loan right now, and then I'm going to let this one go, strategically you're making a decision to default on your house. Coincidentally, that doesn't fall in any of the categories here, because you didn't let one go and then go buy another one. You did it after the fact. You didn't collect rent. You didn't do any of those things. So I don't know how they're going to look at those. But those people have had to qualify for both home loans, so that's going to probably be a category that's probably a little tougher to get after. But the first two, there's plenty of them to go to deal with. And I know there's some of you right now that are probably listening that are probably still living in your house and aren't paying your mortgage, and you're just living there. And so if you get a phone call from the Office of Inspector General, the OIG, your second call might want to be to your attorney, the guy who did the legal separation for you. Your wife's probably going to finalize that separation now and finish that up. So that could be interesting. I have contended all along, good, bad, or indifferent, that until we see John and Jane Doe put in jail for mortgage fraud, the same stuff's going to continue to happen. We've seen the mortgage guys in jail. We've seen, I got a big article here on the attorneys that are in jail. Attorneys that are in jail for mortgage fraud. The ones who said they would help you with your mortgage modification. The ones who charge you $4,500 up front to do that. Did you know there are 11,000 mortgage complaints involving attorneys in California just in the mortgage fraud arena in the last 3 years? 100 of them have been disbarred. 200 are facing charges that are under investigation already. So just because you're dealing with a quote-unquote attorney doesn't mean what they're doing is right, and doesn't mean you're going to get away with it. And generally, if they ask you for a boatload of money up front, that should be a sign that this isn't right. So it's going across the board, but so far we have not yet seen the perp walk from any individual borrowers. Short of those who've gone well overboard, made a business out of creating fraud. But I think we're going to see it. And I think we're going to see it in California. And someone's going to be arrested for stealing money from the U.S. taxpayer. And when that happens, it's going to be interesting how that works out. So, hey, let's take another quick break. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text me at 44-1140. I do got a couple phone lines open as well if you want to jump in today. 339-1140. Johnny is in Chicago, so it's just me, and me. So I can take some calls and questions if you'd like, or I can just keep yakking away. Either way, I'm prepared to do both. This one surprised me. So as of the fourth quarter of 2012, Smartphone quarterly market share by vendor is the question. Who has the number one market share by vendor? Now remember, not by necessarily by the individual smartphone itself. They could have more than one, or they may not. So who has the number one market share in smartphones in the fourth quarter of 2012? They have 32% of the market. I've got either some Jim Boy's tacos if you'd like. I've got some 4-packs of Sacramento Mountain Lions football. My name's Jeff Tarbell. This is Talkin' Money. Our phone number here, 339-1140. You can text me at 44-1140. Who has the number one market share at 32% of all smartphones? This is Talkin' Money. We'll be right back. Jack.